adding different things that help laser out. What's up, New Strike City? If y'all don't know, New Strike City is big time on the YouTube shit. Something I've never been able to get into. New Strike City is a big Bengals fan, and a lot of y'all familiar with him. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm gonna let my man talk. You can tell me anything that you want to talk about. Great to get on here with the live. I appreciate you coming out here tonight and hanging out with us on this, whatever we call this.
You already know, bro. I'm a huge fan of yours as well. You know, we always got to hold it down for Who They Nation. My question for you is, I've seen some people talk about Marvin Jones. Obviously, he was a big receiver here for us. You know, sometimes you get those things where you hear one player being offered, but what's the price on Marvin Jones? Do you think that's something that they look into? Obviously, we wanted him here, but what would we do if we did that?
I need to look at his contract length, but I think he still has 2 years left on it. Bengals don't make bad deals, right? I don't see them taking that money off of it. But the thing I was saying about the Falcons one was Sanu is that they're absolutely going to let him go after the season. I cannot imagine any scenario for the fifth option on your team getting paid that type of money, and you got Calvin Ridley, and then they got the other speedster that actually gets more targets than Sanu. Marvin Jones, I hadn't heard that one before. But if you remember when he left to get number one wide receiver money, and he also left to get a number one wide receiver role. To have him come backtrack over here and possibly be going into now he'd be the third option because now Tyler Boyd is cementing himself as the second. I just don't like that fit as much. Sanu, though, I just really like I just don't see any team being able to stop us on third down. Like, our Achilles heel is third down. Sanu in the slot, Tyler Boyd, like, you could get a little creative with him. He's lit. Like, I just don't see nobody stopping that. And then when you do get Ross healthy, the field is now stretched. Ain't nobody stopping that in the playoffs. There's no team that's ready for that. I mean, now you're neck and neck with the Chiefs and the Falcons as far as weapons. And then we start talking about we ain't even talking about Gio Bernard coming out the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you're neck and neck with them. Like there's no reason. And then the key point that you need to check out this tonight or whatever, we haven't had that many comments about offensive alignment because we're getting good offensive line play for the first time in a long time. Long time.
One thing that I will say is, like, Bobby Hart had that shaky start to the season, but if you watch him these last two or three games, he's actually been pretty good, which is surprising.
Hey, he had some moments. I went back just looking at YouTube highlights when we first got him. He had some moments where he was legit as fuck. He fell out of favor with him. He almost fell out of favor, almost like Jermaine Gresham towards the end of his tenure or whatever. So it clouded him so much though that even players amongst even our team before he even came were saying he's not a good locker room guy. So already everybody's vision on him was jaded. But at some point when he was with the Giants, he was graded out very high with Pro Football Focus. I looked at his 2016 year. Very high graded.
He was pretty good,
He was good. I mean, he was a part of post Eli's Super Bowl. Like, he was cool. Let me ask you, what do you feel about our defense right now? How do you feel about that? Because everybody wants to file Terrell offense.
It's tough. I get what you're saying. Like, I think that, like you said, Joe Mixon can definitely be the defense. You got to run the ball to kind of control the clock and everything like that. I think what it is we're getting the turnovers now. Now, I think before this game, we were kind of having some ups and downs because a lot of our players were dropping potential turnovers. Like, they were dropping picks and things of that nature. But I think, like you said and like Bob said earlier, Terrell Austin, when he first came in, he was committed to getting turnovers. We already knew that that's what the deal was. Excuse me. The issue that I have is his commitment before that was that we would be able to defend against the run, which I haven't seen that from him. That's the thing that has kind of killed me, and I feel like it's kind of killed our defense in certain situations. Now, that's not completely on him because we have had a bad reputation of not being able to guard against the run too well, in the past couple of years. But I think The only thing that's killing me is just looking at the stats and seeing that we're last in the league. I definitely totally agree with you now that the NFL is structured in a way that defenses aren't going to be able to shut teams down. Like you said, with the Jags, they're not going to be able to shut teams down. The only thing is, I feel like we kind of give up yardage and points at the wrong time. That's the only thing. I'm not expecting us to hold anybody under, 20 points or anything like that, because this is a league where you got to score 30 plus to get a victory.
But check this out, though. We
think
almost did that, though. We almost did.
Right.
It's kind of crazy that Fitzpatrick came in there, and I don't know if you saw this part earlier in the live. It's almost like Jameis Winston set us up.
He did
to bite on the two biggest plays of the game, whatever. Jameis Winston threw 15 shitty ass seam routes that I saw. Right, I'm rewatching. I'm like, God, why did he throw that? Why did he throw that? So when Fitzpatrick comes in, Sean Williams and Bates bit so hard on it, boom, boom, like Evans, Jackson, like quick, right? But prior to that, when Jesse Bates got the pick six and it was 34-18, that was a strong defensive effort.
It really was.
It was really strong against the number one pass offense in the NFL. Nobody has more yards than the Buccaneers has ever had in NFL history through the first 8 games.
Exactly.
And at that point, that's what defense, I know we don't have like a Ray Lewis out there just, terrorizing people and just what we expect from Burfict. And we don't have like these Khalil Macks of the world. We have a Geno Atkins we have a Geno Atkins who didn't have the greatest game ever. But I will say this, they double him the whole day. And as a result, people like Sam Hubbard and even Washington, who Adolphus Washington from TAB, he feasted on that. So it's almost like the John Ross effect. It's not a decoy, but Geno Atkins absolutely took on doubles all game, every single play.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. Not to cut you off, but I think that's been another issue. I think is the inconsistency with the pass rush, because there's games where I feel like we have a top 5 unit when it comes to rushing the passer, and then we'll have games where they just disappear, like the Steelers game. And I think you saw that yesterday, where it was in the first half when we was on them and our defense was playing lights out, we were getting to them. And then in the second half, it kind of slowed down a little bit. So I think that's really my only complaints with Austin. But I don't think, our fans just need to be realistic. We're not going to let Terrell Austin go this year. So if there is a change to be made, I don't think it's going to be until next year.
I feel like that's counterproductive too. Who's out there? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just think
and it's a new system that he just put in. Like, you can't just fire somebody. Like, that would be – I mean, some people on my channel have said, throw Jim Haslett in there, and that's cool, but I just think that that's just too much.
Jim Haslett.
You can't fire Terrell Austin after you just had, 4 interceptions in the game, 1 defensive touchdown. You can't really fire the dude after that. Now, if you're in a situation like the Bucs was a couple of weeks ago against the Bears, where you got, 30, 40 points hanged on you at halftime, then that makes sense. But the fact that we're scoring points on defense this year after not having many turnovers, if any, last year, I don't think that you can get rid of TA at all.
I just don't see – I would be all for it. But like I always said, and people did this with me with Dalton and shit, right? They always would say, and I'm a big proponent of this in real life. Don't tell me, I'm not even gonna say drastic. Don't tell me, hey, this is what we need to do, and you don't have a solution to the problem.
Right.
If you fire Terrell Austin, cool. I could get on board with it. But what's the what are you doing? Who are you bringing in that's gonna just make people tackle?
And you could also apply that same logic to what you said with Marvin last year. We were all pissed at Marvin and everything. Who could you really go out and get that could come in and do a better job than Marvin Lewis last season?
All right. Okay. All right. All right, now with Marvin Lewis, now I'm a couple months removed from it, right?
Right.
I had a list, but what I was trying to do, I feel like Marvin, for real, I am in favor of removing Marvin Lewis.
Right.
Now, I did come up because I knew that Mike Brown doesn't want to spend all that money. Like this misconception that Mike Brown is cheap is not all the way true. It's not that he's
Definitely
cheap.
not.
He reminds me of myself in a way. I'm one of them people where I have at one point in my life I didn't have several streams of income, right? I only had one real big stream of income. But the only way that I was able to progress past my peers is to get several streams of income. Mike Brown never did that. He only has one stream of income. So people like the Cowboys that go and do stupid shit like go get Amari Cooper for a first-round pick when he's not proven to be a first-round talent consistently, right?
Right.
He could take that risk because he's got 20 other fucking oil resources and all these different things right there that he can get money from, and he could take risks. Mike Brown can't take those type of risks. But what he could do, I feel like, is exactly what Tony Dungy did for the Buccaneers. Marvin Lewis set up the pins for Gruden. You bring in a motivator, someone to take your current scheme and move it to the next page. What was the coach? What's the coach for the Bearcats? What was that guy I kept on saying? It was a couple guys. I like the dude, the coach from what's the black coach that was the coach from Stanford. I really liked him. I didn't like the fact that he didn't really have that much NFL experience. But I had a list. If I went back on my shit, like good enough. It wasn't fucking Fickle. I don't know. I had some legit things. I wasn't one of those guys that wanted what's the coordinator for what was it? I think before it was Kyle Shanahan. No, I wasn't. Before Matt Patricia, what's the offensive coordinator? What was the offensive coordinator?
Oh, you talking about Josh McDaniels?
Yeah, personality-wise, that's not what we wanted. You know what he would have ended up? He would have ended up like Zampese. He would have had so much stuff. He's so smart that the average person like myself, Tyler Boyd, wouldn't thrive under somebody like that. Right. Now, see, the beauty of the Josh McVay is not only is he smart as fuck, he identifies, and what does he do? He's got YG at practice. Right. You know what I'm saying? He's relatable. He's got relatable, like, and see, and Kyle Shanahan is like that too, and I like him a lot too. But there are certain ones like McDaniels, he's not relatable with the scheme. I was looking at Patman when we still had Patman. I didn't think that would work. But I had a list of a bunch of people, and if I go back far enough, I'm going to try to go back and show it to you. But I feel like they would – I swear, when Marvin is gone and they could bring in their version of John Gruden, it'll be a Tony Dungy situation. And everybody will be able to credit Marvin Lewis for what he did, but – there's these very, very brief windows in history where you need a new voice that just take you right over the top. The players are so tired of that same voice. I remember watching a George Iloka interview one time, and he was really, really hinting at, like, people aren't buying in, people aren't doing this. And, I mean, they got rid of George Iloka. But sometimes that voice just grows old.
Don't get me wrong now. I definitely don't like Marvin like that. I'm not a Marvin guy at all. But I could kind of understand, like, the way that the chips were falling last year, that almost gave me a heart attack because I think there was some rumors going around that they wanted Paul Guenther to be the head coach. And that was exactly, bruh. Exactly. That's why I was like, nah. I'd rather
look. You want to know why? All right, I'm gonna tell you a little small thing. Like, there are certain players that I've been in a room with. There's certain coaches that I've been in the room with. Paul Guenther is the most invisible person. Now, Vance Joseph, I've been in a room with him before. Vance Joseph commands a room. Paul Guenther, I didn't even know he was there. No, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that matters. And that's the people that love Dalton the most or whatever. I've been in a room with Dalton before too. He's a little scary to me. If you're in real life, and you're like real life situations with that, and I feel like he's done his job, he's clutch and everything like that. But I just seen his true colors in a couple instances, and I'm a very aggressive. Like in my everyday life, I'm not rude. I know my ex always used to be like, man, you like talking to these people like so aggressively. I'm like, because I'm telling them directly what I expect for certain things or whatever. And there's certain people like a Hugh Jackson or certain personalities that demand shit. I demand shit when I go into a room. People are going to know I was there. You know what I'm saying? Andy Dalton is not cut out like that. So when you get into these certain situations and their clutch moments, people are like, damn, why the fuck isn't Dalton winning? I'm like, I kind of know why. Because certain people like an Andy Dalton could say something to me in real life and shit, and I wouldn't trust them. Because I just know that you're not able to do what I would do. You're not going to go above and beyond. You're not going to go out in the rain and go carry this shit and sweat and your arm bleed and not give a fuck or whatever. I do think Dalton wants to win, for sure. But there's certain things about his personality that I just don't. Me personally, I can't buy into. I know for a fact AJ Green loves Dalton and believes that Dalton is the key to everything. He loves Dalton. I remember when everybody was screaming at McCarron shit, AJ Green, like through private conversations and stuff, no, Dalton's the guy. Dalton's got to get it, and I'll be like, why? Because AJ Green is not wired like me though. He's not wired like me though. He's not expecting. You know, AJ Green doesn't need motivation to be the GOAT. He is the GOAT.
One of the things I heard, too, was that he actually kind of handpicked Dalton through the whole draft process. He was very instrumental in that part, too, Yeah,
that's crazy. Because, I mean, for what Dalton represents, he is a phenomenal, talented quarterback. I never question. People get on me a lot because I'm very critical on Dalton. I never question his talent. It's always the moxie and clutch.
Nah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
You know how many times I walked out of a bar, my G, and I just was like, damn, how the fuck we lose that game? And I just fell off the Dalton bandwagon before the start of 2017 season. People that knew me before, I was a Dalton guy. And I fell off because I would walk out of these bars and shit or walking away from it. I was like, damn, we were so close. Then I woke up. And so then I just started being I've been super critical on them or not even critical, but just super like, I'm like, if the coaches don't give them pressure, I'm going to give them pressure and I'm going to build up my fans on Instagram. I'm going to build up whatever and I'm going to put pressure on them. I'm going to make somebody he knows feel this shit. If Dalton's cousin is following my page, he's going to feel this shit. Somebody better relate to him that he needs pressure on him. And that's what the beauty of Lamar Jackson. I feel like Lamar Jackson represented pressure for Flacco.
Yes.
And it's like, the way that our team is constructed, bro, RPOs throwing, all he would have had to do was throw like 17 times a game, run heavy, control the clock, get first downs. Mixon and Jackson just getting first downs keeps so many teams off the field, and then how would
you even guard against us? Like you got Lamar Jackson, you got AJ Green, you got Tyler Eifert would have been healthy.
Bro, the fan base could not buy into it because everybody is still living off of I need a pocket quarterback. Let me tell you about Mitchell Trubisky. I watched the Bears game yesterday. I just watched that earlier today. Do y'all know that Mitchell Trubisky jumps off the screen to me more than anybody? You know who he reminds me of? Fucking Vince Young.
True.
Mitchell Trubisky is a running quarterback now. He only had one good game, and that was against who? The Buccaneers. I watch a shitload of football, my dude. Listen, Mitchell Trubisky is not a pocket quarterback, but because of his size and his stature and his measurables, people are trying to say in the fact that he just looks like a quarterback. People are trying to say, and they don't watch enough football. He's Tim Tebow, Vince Young all over again. But because his measurables stack up to say he could throw a ball this far, and they don't look at him like that. But Lamar Jackson, because not trying to play the race card, because he is black and he runs a fucking 4.4, oh no, he won't work here. He could. He's so much more.
They need to look at those passing stats that he had at Louisville.
Lamar Jackson is so much more accurate than Tim Tebow ever was. Lamar Jackson is more accurate than Mitchell Trubisky right now. And people could not buy into that because he's so fast and he can run that they would not listen to what I was saying. And I was never trying to say, get Dalton the fuck out of here. I was saying, put pressure on Dalton.
Put the pressure on him. Put the pressure on him.
And if he does, if Dalton is who you say he is, then you got nothing to worry about. We just got a good-ass backup. That's valuable in the NFL. I don't give a fuck if I took him in the first, second, third, whatever. If I got a good quarterback, say Dalton goes down like he did 2015, so what? I got Lamar Jackson coming off the bench. Who wouldn't want that? It's the most important player on the field. But people get so caught up in their Christian beliefs, the fact that they love Dalton and all that stuff, they wouldn't listen to me. And then, not trying to play the race card again either. It's just maybe the way that I look, maybe the way that I talk, those things right there just kind of make people it takes some people aback a little bit when I start talking about, you need offense and fuck defense. Like, like because the way that I talk and the things that I do. But the reason why I say the things that I say is because I watch a lot of football.
A lot of football, right.
It has nothing to do with who I personally like. Do you know I hate college football? I only watch college football only to scout. I only watch.
Me and you the same way, bro.
I only
That's
watch
crazy.
college football. So some of these other pages and shit, they go with people that they like personally in college football and stuff like that. Or
you can't have that connection to it because then you too biased.
Man, do you know how many people was telling me like Reuben Foster, and I'm like, man, he's jumping out the screen. I love him, but they just were Alabama fans. Like I go look at this shit, or I be like, who you like? They be like, I like Alabama. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I go watch his game. I'm like, damn, the way he's tackling, I don't know how long he's gonna last in the NFL. Shit. He got into another incident with his girlfriend. Like, I'm just reading all this shit. I'm like, I don't know. That's the guy I would want. I love the talent. It just doesn't match up right. And I'm not perfect. I could be wrong. Reuben Foster could be lit. It's just
Reuben Foster. I will say this: Reuben Foster is lit, but the character concerns, like you said, he wasn't a player given our history that we could take just because this might have not been the best environment for him. But I agree with I agree with you too on the Lamar Jackson thing. It's crazy because sometimes on my YouTube page, we do like this Bengals Real Talk Roundtable where we discuss things. And this summer, I was saying the same thing you did. I want Lamar Jackson. And a lot of people took that the wrong way. And I think you said it perfectly. I didn't want Lamar Jackson just because he was Lamar Jackson. It's because from a mental perspective, that puts the pressure on Andy Dalton, just like it did. And I pointed to it last year with the Chiefs going and getting Pat Mahomes.
That's the perfect.
And what happened with Alex Smith? Alex Smith had the best year he's ever had. You look at it this year, even with the Ravens with Joe Flacco. He's playing some of the best ball that he's ever had. It's because mentally you know that your spot isn't safe. You know that you're not guaranteed that spot. And Andy, to me, like, I'm with you too. I'm not like a whole Andy Dalton lover. Like, I give him credit where credit is due. But I think, like you said, a lot of things personality-wise I don't like about him. I don't like the fact that last year in the Steelers game, he kind of gave up and just threw the ball out of bounds, plays like that. I don't like that he doesn't get the team fired up. I don't like that.
I don't think Strike City know about – I got this thing I did. It's 4th and 3 forever. And I made this thing, man. If you ever get a chance to go back and look, I made this thing. And you'll see sometimes people write on my page 4th and 3 forever because I put like this curse on Dalton. And I was like, are you going to be 4th and 3? Like sometimes I do a live stream. I'm like, are you going to be 4th and 3 today? And people, and I challenge people all the time. I say, when you walk in your daily life or whatever, what type of person are you? Like, are you 4th and 12?
Right.
Are you 4th and 3, Dalton? You know what I'm saying? Because 4th and 12, that's Ravens Dalton or whatever. And the only thing about 4th and 12 Dalton is it was nothing to lose. You were playing with house money. You weren't going to the playoffs anyway, and you made a really good play. But 4th and 3 Dalton, ironically, he gave up, right? There's nobody that could give me an explanation. There's no one, not even the biggest Dalton lover in the world, can ever say anything. They tried.
Right.
You can't ever come back from 4th and 3 with me. I forgive you, Dalton, but I'll never forget. You gave up, and that makes you a semi-pussy because there's no situation that I could give you with a Lamar Jackson, a Aaron Rodgers,
Right.
Drew Brees, any of these dudes. They will throw the ball up in the fucking sky.
Right.
Like, and hope that somebody tips it and catches it. But these guys that I highlight, these players that are not coddled, you know, they don't have 4th and 3s. And it was so perfect. Before the game, I said, watch this guy at the end of this game. It's going to come down to something and whatever. And it was a meaningless play, though, a lot of people. But I said, man, that told me everything I needed to see. Yeah, we couldn't have. They like, but Zim, we couldn't have won the game. I don't give a shit.
Right. You don't quit. As the quarterback and the leader of the team, you are never the person that needs to quit, no matter what the circumstances were. But as a quarterback, you can never quit on the team. I totally agree, bro. Totally agree.
Yeah, like, so that's the whole thing with the 4th and 3. You know, too many injuries.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you on that. I'm going back and forth with him as well. Like 2013, I was kind of done with him with the 20 interception season. He kind of won me back after
I was still
2015. I was eating my words, but I got one video on YouTube. If you get a chance, check it out. It was last year after that Ravens game, and I just went in on him. I straight went in on him.
Get the fuck out of here.
But bro, I'm having some technical difficulties out here. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to checking out your content in the future. Keep doing what you're doing because you're killing it. We need more people in Who Dey Nation to push this content, but I just wanted to show you some love, and I'm definitely a fan, bro.
Yeah, man. Hit me up, bro. We got to do something. The round table, I'd love to join that joint one time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, DM me, hit me up. We're gonna get it going.
Yes, sir. Y'all be